Today on Fight Insight podcast, we will have Mansur Abdul-Malik. Plus, we will recap UFC 309. And do you want to see Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall or Jones versus Pereira? All that and more. So, Tim, hit it! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fight Insight podcast.
Rain, we are back. Our guest right now, he holds a perfect 7-0 record with 7 finishes, 6 being in the very first round, with the 7th only making it to the second. He made his UFC debut at UFC Vegas 100 just 2 weeks ago, coming off his Contender Series appearance, where he also earned, well, not in the Contender Series, but in his debut, he earned a $50K bonus in his very first fight. This is the best start you could ever imagine. He is not used to waiting, Rain. This guy makes short work of everything. Let's hope he doesn't leave our podcast after just like a couple of minutes. Bring him in, Rain.
Please welcome Mansur Abdul-Malik.
Oh, my goodness.
Hi.
Hello.
What's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm absolutely amazing. I'm doing tremendous today. I feel good. The sun is shining.
Dude, how much better could life get for this guy, Rain? Like, Mansur, incredible, man. Like, what a career you have starting off. My first question to you, okay? Are we more likely to see aliens on Earth or Mansur Abdul-Malik in a third round?
That's a good question. Honestly, if we're just messing around, I'm not opposed to the third round, because that's another question that I can answer from the people. Oh, we've never seen him in a second or third round, so let's see how he is. Let's see what type of endurance he has. Let's see what type of heart he has. So I'm ready to answer every single one of those questions. But honestly, the aliens might not be a bad bet.
Yeah, I'm betting on aliens for sure, man. Like, your performance has been spectacular, my friend. Like, spectacular. Way to go, man. Really kicking ass and putting the division on notice immediately, right? Like, what is the feeling you have from the UFC in terms of like what they want to do with you? And and I do want to shout out your management team, of course, Sucker Punch Entertainment. Great people there, man. What do you think is in store for you career-wise?
I think some very, very big and beautiful things are in store for me career-wise. Not only with the UFC, and I'm so grateful for the relationship that I have with them, and I feel like it's going to form into, and it's beautiful now, but I feel like it's going to form into something even more beautiful as the years come and as the time goes by. But not only them, my team, Sucker Punch Entertainment, them combined with the UFC is like, man, it's like the most beautiful recipe, concoction, or whatever you want to call it. These guys are the people behind the scenes that help me get these opportunities, that help me get on the scene in the ways that I am. And I'm so grateful to them and the UFC. And I'm just happy to be here. But I know that some very, very exciting things are on the horizon.
Definitely. Now, here's the thing. How did you get involved? Like, you're a 6-0, well, I guess like 5-0 before you hit the Contender Series. How does someone like you already get on Sucker Punch's radar? You know what I mean? Because I know people that have had many, many professional fights, right? More than 5, and don't have a huge management team behind them or something like that. But how does Mansur get that call, and how does that relationship work?
Man, I can tell you blessings, because I've known, there's 2 guys, Brian Butler and Brian Hamper. And I've known Brian Hamper since I was a teenager in Maryland, high school wrestling. He's very, very involved with the wrestling scene there. And it was already known that I was kind of going to go on this path. So the relationship was already built. And then once I made the decision to go fully, he was right there with me, ready to help and waiting.
Nice. That's crazy, man. Good for you. So look, it's all about coincidences, man. It's coincidences, putting yourself in the right spot and being ready for the opportunity. But you're such a humble man. Like, when I watch your interviews, when I watch you, even when you're speaking right now, you're a very well composed individual. How does that work out? Because you're an animal. So why are you so polite? What's wrong here?
Man, I just understand, and I know that no matter how good this goes for me, I'm thankful and I'm blessed. No matter how well this goes, this career, fighting, and everything else, this is so small. This is so, honestly, it's almost a little bit meaningless if you can't combine that with being a good person, trying your best to be a good person, and just highlighting the things that are already innate and beautiful within you, this really doesn't mean anything. But if you can highlight those things, if you can give back to other people the same ways that you have been given to, if not more, and if you're able to put helping others ahead of your selfish desires and wants, then everything else can be combined and be beautiful. I always kind of say to people that the fight or the training or MMA, this is already a gift within itself, right? The success and everything, that's up to God. The result's gonna be the result. But simply training, simply competing, that is the reward. So everything else is just more and more blessings, man. And I just understand and realize that this is the last part, like MMA and fighting and this career. This is just the last part of just trying your best to be a good person. And I just pray and hope that I just continue with this mindset and this mentality, because people change. Once attention comes, cameras keep coming, money keeps coming. People just change, and they sort of justify to themselves that they can act in different ways. But I just want to continue to be this person, continue to be myself, and continue to love what I do, regardless of anything else. I just love this. I love my life. I love the people in my life, and I just love the situation that I'm in.
Rain, I'm going to hold this man I'm going to hold this man accountable as this guy when he has UFC gold around his waist. I want to see if he answers the Fight and Sight message to see if he's going to come back on this podcast. You know what I mean? Or see that's like, screw these little guys. But Mansur, it's crazy to hear what you're saying though, man. Like this past weekend, I was out in East Coast Canada. I was commentating for Fight League Atlantic. Shout out to them, man. Like giving me the opportunity to commentate their pay-per-views for the last year and a bit. It was their last paper of the year, FLA 17. It was incredible. Amateurs, advanced amateurs, and professional fighters. And I'll tell you, the one thing that I can say is that every single one of those guys on the card was practicing what you're preaching, man. They are good people, friendly people, win or lose. Those guys were very respectful, humble, just great people. And I swear it's so different than the early days of MMA when you saw like everyone was a crazy animal. Now we've had Chris Lieben on the podcast, okay? And now he's a humble, respectful, lovable guy. But back then, he was an insane maniac. You know what I mean? And that's what it took. But now it's so weird to see this new breed coming up that is just so different. Mansur, who do you credit for being this kind of guy?
Number one, I credit God. It's like, man, and just like everyone else, I have like the proverbial bad stuff within me. You know, I like to be overly aggressive sometimes when I fight or when I train. I cuss sometimes. So these things are all these things are already within me. So I don't want to say that I don't have those things, but I just know that I represent something. I know that I have a stage set for me right now and I have a platform set for me. So I just want to make sure that I'm professional. It's as simple as it goes. I can say so many different things and I can say all these different things to make the story more beautiful than it is. But I just know that I'm in a position where things are highlighted and I just want the best things to be highlighted and not the bad things to be highlighted. So I'm just happy. And I'm very, very, very happy to be here. In addition to that, I just credit my father, and I have a beautiful, beautiful upbringing. That man is the man. Everything I am is just a small piece of what he is. And I'm so grateful to him. So with God and my father, I'm just this person that I am now, man. And I just want to be someone that other people can look at and be like, you know what, that's a good example amongst other people. So I kind of want to shift myself and maybe be like him. Not totally be like me, but maybe they could see me and see something good.
Yeah. Calm down. Not everyone's going to be a 7-0 pro with 6 finishes. Relax. Or 7 finishes and 6 in the first round. But here's the thing. I will say there's one problem that I have with you. 2 problems. Okay. So let's air out our grievances now. Rain, then you can say all the bad stuff you were saying about him after. First problem, Mansur. I get you on the podcast. And now I got to go and I got to make promo reels for you and stuff like that, right? It's very hard when you're out of the first round all the time. There's not much that I can find. You know what I mean? Like you really make it hard to make well, it's easy to find highlight reels because it's all knockouts and finishes. But there's not a lot of Mansur content. You know what I mean? So I'm mad at you for that. Second thing I'm mad at you. I was watching your fight because obviously, like, I want to refresh my memory of that fight that you had, the last one at UFC Vegas 100.
Mm-hmm.
My wife walks in to watch, and she's like, "This guy's brutal. I don't want to watch this guy ever again." And I'm like, "What?" He's just like He's just like Justin Gaethje. He's too violent. I can't watch this guy. So I don't know, man. Your fights are a little bit too aggressive, maybe for some people. Rain, what do you want to ask this man?
Well, number one, I think, I just thought of like a good nickname for you because you're such a humble guy. I think you're the role model. So you could be the role model. I think that would be like a good nickname for you.
That's a scary one. It's a scary one to be a role model because then you have to keep that presence up. You got to make sure you don't slip. But I like that. Honestly. I don't know if it's something that I choose myself, but I do like it.
No, just like with the way you were speaking, right? It's just such a humble guy, and you you look up to your father as your role model, and I feel like you really kind of like got a lot of characteristics from him, to be this great man that you are right now. My question for you, I'm looking at your record, and you only have one amateur bout, and then after that you moved on to the pros.
Yes.
What was the mindset at that time? When you're like, okay, I won my first amateur bout, I'm ready to go pro.
I was ready to go pro before that amateur bout. If anything, in my mind, I was just like, this is the correct way to do it. It's the professional way to do it. I'm going to make sure that I get this under my belt, and then I'm off to the professional leagues. I didn't want to do it, but it was the right thing to do. It was the correct thing to do. And when it comes to like amateur, professional, or records, or any of that, I can't even think about it. I swear, I'm not even joking. Before this fight, I didn't even know what my record was. I knew that it was somewhere around like 5 or 7, but I wasn't even thinking about it. I just know that I train every single day. I just want to do what I love. And then it's time to compete, and it's time to go be free and express myself through my physical movements and through my body language and through the way that I fight. So I'm not even really thinking about the numbers or statistics or amateur or pro or any of that. I just know that I'm literally doing what I love. But it's not a joke. I mean that wholeheartedly. I couldn't even remember what day it was. I swear. I didn't even know what month it was. I'm just along this journey, and I'm just on a roller coaster of positivity and happiness.
But what gym are you training at, Mansur?
Extreme Couture.
Oh, Extreme Couture. Okay, in Vegas. So that's okay. So you're there now and training. I mean, but to make that jump, were you with Extreme Couture when you did your amateur fight?
No, I was not.
Okay.
So
okay.
I was in Maryland training, and I was just moving around in Maryland training. So I was a little bit at Lloyd Irvin's, and then that was just for that one amateur fight. Soon after that, I just got in my car, drove 18 hours down to Florida, and I started training at MMA Masters, and I was down there for about 4 years before I made the shift to Extreme Couture.
Oh, very nice. Okay. But like at the time that you have one amateur fight and then you decide to go pro, your coaches must have been saying, "Hey, buddy, just relax, take it easy. Were they putting up barricades for you to do that? Because that's not normal. Like that is very strange."
Not necessarily barricades, but strong suggestions. It's honestly, you just have to know yourself. And it's a very, very thin line between arrogance and knowing what you're capable of. And I knew what I was capable of, especially when it comes to MMA. I've done all different martial arts. I've wrestled pretty much my entire life. But I just know when it comes to MMA, free-form fighting, that there's just something special within me. And I just know what I'm capable of. Honestly, that might not even be true, because my capabilities could be so high I can't even conceptualize them. I just know that I'm very able to do some very, very beautiful things when it comes to full fighting, when it comes to no barriers, when it comes to no holds, no blocks, just freedom. I know that I can do some pretty, pretty cool things. So when your heart is on fire with passion, you're your own best teacher. I'm pretty sure that's like a Bruce Lee quote. I may be misquoting him a little bit, but that's true. That's true. When you know yourself, when you're confident, when you work hard, you know that you can do things, and you know what you're not capable of as well. And I knew that I was ready. I knew that I could go in here and compete with these professionals. And now here I am in the UFC competing with these guys.
It's crazy, man. It is
Wow.
crazy, Rain. Like, yeah, very, very well composed man here. We've got in front of us. Did you watch your fight back from UFC Vegas? Did you watch it with the commentary?
Yes, I did.
So I found it very interesting. And Rain, it's very interesting the question you're asking, because Bisping was talking about how you had said experience does not equal fight IQ. And then he was like, well, I kind of disagree. But then he respected what you had said and said, yeah, but Mansur does say that he's training every day. And so there's all that experience being built up. It's not just your experience. You don't just develop your fight IQ from your in-ring competition, I guess, is what you're saying, right? What is important, and again, because like Rain is the ring announcer for Up Next Fighting in California. You should go check out one of those shows, Mansur. Go check out one of those shows. And then I'm doing the commentating for Fight League Atlantic. So both of us are around a lot of amateurs and stuff like that. What do you think, right, for a young fighter, if you had to give advice, how can they best develop their fight IQ?
Fall in love with the process. You can't think of this too much as like something rigid. It's like, okay, I gotta go to practice, I gotta train. Then it becomes like you just getting in shape. Okay, I just got to train, got to get in shape, got to cut weight, I got to do all these things. You can't fall into that too much. It's sort of a good thing because you'll end up being prepared physically, maybe mentally, but when you love it, when you do stuff and truly, truly enjoy it, when you're present in practices and in your daily obligations, in competition day, when you're just present, you sort of, in my mind, you sort of build this fight IQ. And I feel like you can just observe different parts of what you're doing. And what I mean by that is, let's say someone fights. Okay, they can rewatch this fight. They can take this experience. They can study the fight, study all the things that they did good, study all of the things that they did bad. And then that becomes that relevant experience that they can fall back on. When it comes to me, I do exactly that for practice as well. I do exactly that when I'm just hanging out by myself and watching fights over and over and over again. So I have 3 times as much study time as the regular average guy that just goes over his last fight. So I'm trying my absolute best to just observe all the things that I'm doing, but then I'm having fun with it as well. So in my case, when it comes to all those different things, that's how I'm just, in my mind, becoming more and more experienced. I just make sure that I make an effort in making this my life and not just a job. So if I had any advice for an amateur and up and coming guy, it would be just that. Just enjoy this and love it and be passionate about every single thing that you're doing, because this flies by faster than you can imagine.
Yeah, for sure, man. Life is short. That's for sure too. We learned that lesson. I will say that I am very excited for the Mansur TED Talk. Like here's the thing, man. There are fighters that have done TED Talks. Absolutely. Okay. The one girl that we had on this podcast long ago, and I found her through the TED Talk, was Ramona Pasquale. She trains out of Syndicate MMA, and she was in the UFC as well. She did a TED Talk. I'm telling you, dude, go find out how to get on the TED Talk circuit.
I will.
Dude, it's only a one-time thing. And I swear, man, do this. Get your manager to figure this out. Because when I had on BKFC champion Britton Hart, she's very motivational too. Like you don't remind me physically of her, but but like the way you're speaking so positive and everything. I was telling Britton Hart to try to get on a TED Talk as well. You should definitely do that, man. You have a very good way of speaking. And I think all you do is like you reach out to TED Talk and then you can like apply and stuff like that. But that'd be very cool to see you on there, man.
100%. I've been thinking about that for a while.
Get on it. And like we're saying right now, like life is short, right? You just got to do it. You just got to make that first step in applying to do it. And I guarantee you, man, I think we're going to see it, Rain. I'd like to see it.
That's a possibility. Very, very strong.
Do it, man. You're living in Vegas now. Do you have a family? Do you have a wife, a girlfriend, a partner?
Nothing, man. It's just me.
Okay. You got
maybe one day it'll change. Maybe one day, but just me right now.
Yeah. Right place, right time, right?
Yeah.
You got good people around you though, like good friends, good people, like yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I keep a very, very strong community of positive people. People are on the same page as me. People that are doing the exact same things that I'm doing. 100%.
Nice. Good, good. I mean, Rain and I are putting together a MMA/reality dating show,
Mhm.
but you're too much of a good guy for the show. You're not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe I could suggest it to somebody else, but
Yeah. Give me some of your crazy friends. I want to ask you something, if you don't mind, and if you don't want to answer this, that's okay. You're new to the UFC, so you get your UFC contract, right? After Contender Series. Is it a 4-fight contract? Is that what they do? 3-fight, 4-fight?
Yeah.
4-fight? Okay. When you sign the contract, you're signing for 4 fights. They promise to offer you X number of fights per year. I think that's what they say, right? Does your contract stipulate like how much money you're going to make each fight? You don't tell me the amount, but it tells you how much you make, right?
Essentially, because there's always like the base pay with like anything. There's always a base pay, and I kind of like to elaborate to people that being in the UFC or being a professional athlete, the door is open to make as much money as you want. Honestly, truly. There's complaints about fighter pay. There's complaints about he gets this, I don't get this. This guy gets that, I don't get that. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense because the door for change is here. If anyone has it, okay, someone who works and I don't want to disrespect people like that, but someone who works a regular job or a normal 9-to-5 job, they may not necessarily have the possibility or opportunity to make a lot more money instantly. But we do. So I don't understand the complaints. I don't understand the why he got this and I didn't get this. It's so strange to me. Sponsorships, money outside of the UFC. When it comes to gaining attention for yourself, Instagram, we have so many different platforms, so many different opportunities, so many different avenues in order to make money and in order to make that financial jump that you want to make. It's there for the taking if you want it. Now, if you don't want it, if you just want to sit around and complain about it, then it becomes a completely different story. But man, it's there. The possibility is there, and I don't really get like complaints about fighter pay. But man, I have a beautiful opportunity in front of me because my notoriety is gaining. It's slowly coming up, and I'm excited. I'm excited for all the new opportunities that come 2025.
But hold on. But but what you're saying though is that, hey, as a UFC athlete, I have opportunities and doors that open to me in order to make money. Okay?
100%.
And I appreciate what you're saying. And Jake Matthews, UFC fighter, he was on our podcast, especially around the time that people were complaining a lot about fighter pay. And he went on Twitter at the time and was like, no, UFC fighters are paid well, blah, blah, blah. And so I had him on the podcast to explain. And he was saying much what you were saying. Hey, no, but there's so many opportunities, blah, blah, blah. But I want to stick to the contract itself, if you don't mind, because it's going to lead me into something.
Okay.
The contract says, okay, you get X dollars per fight for these 4 fights plus your win bonus, right?
Yes.
How come? And now, but can that change during the course of that contract? No, they'd have to give you a new contract.
Yes. It has to be a new contract. I'm pretty sure that's a question that I need to ask myself because I'm just so focused on fighting and then like the base pay or whatever that just is what it is. But that's a very, very good question. But I'm pretty sure that it changes within the contracts.
If like a new contract.
Yes.
Yeah. So then how come? So this is my question, and we're coming off the heels of UFC 309, right? You watched 309, obviously?
Yes.
Yeah. Rain, you watched it? Okay. Why does Jon Jones or other fighters, but Jon Jones specifically, why does he say, oh, well, I'll fight, blah, 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 but it depends on the money. Oh, we'll see how the negotiations go. If he already has a contract that's for X number of fights and he's still within that contract, is he just saying, hey, I don't give a damn. Every time I fight, you need to give me a new contract and it's raising every time? Is that what he's doing?
Man, I tell you, when you're a champion, you can do stuff like that, I feel. I'm a different guy. Maybe I might not do that. But when you're a champion, when you hold that belt, when you're the greatest fighter of all time, when you're Jon Jones, you can do stuff like that. You can be like, I'm not fighting this guy unless I get compensated enough for it. I don't have to. I can literally walk away from the game and be A-okay and leave it for someone else. So when someone like that You can say things like that, and you can do things like that, and you can have the ability. I think he just said something like that. You can have the ability to walk away from a deal or to walk away from something and be like, okay, I don't need this. Like, no disrespect, no ill will towards anyone, but I'm good. I'm fine. And you guys are good and fine without me as well. But I feel like specific to him, that's something that he can do.
But I feel like other fighters say it and do it too, though. Like, I feel like non-Jon Jones people do it. Where they'll say things, and like every time I hear an interview or something, they go, well, it depends on what the UFC is going to offer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just go look at your contract, bro. That's what the UFC has already offered you for the next X fights. Like, it's weird to me that they keep that there's that thing always in the air, right?
Exactly.
Because shouldn't Tom Aspinall just go, you're not doing business with me, you idiot. You've already signed a contract. Like, you're either going to fight me or not.
Exactly. And it's literally that simple. It's like, how could you say something like that if like this is already in place? It's literally that simple. There's like the confusion in the air. I feel like it's just built up by people that say stuff when they get a chance in front of the camera. It's so simple. It's like, this is your contract. This is what you're getting paid. Of course, your notoriety and the more you can bring to the table has an impact on that. But I feel like a lot of stuff people talk is just mess.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, because here's the thing, I guess, like then Mansur, okay, so you win at Contender Series. They give you the contract.
Yeah.
So you sign your contract and they go, okay, well, this kid did well. And, he did what he had to do. So we're going to give him the contract. But then you go out on your first fight and you do what you did. And they're like, oh, crap. Okay. Yeah. This guy's the real deal, right? Fought a guy with a lot of experience. And right, that was not an easy fight. We didn't give him a layup. Mm-hmm. You go out and do what you did. So now you go take your next fight. I mean, even after your second fight on the contract, 2 out of 4, if you go out there and perform again like that, I don't know that Mansur doesn't go, well, next fight, I'm going to need a new contract. Like, lock me in now because like I've already performed twice. I guess that is kind of what happens. And then you just lock in again.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like they take all that stuff into consideration, your notoriety, your performances, your skill. They take all of that into consideration into the next contract.
Right. Yeah. And that's what you're saying. And that's why also you're saying like, hey, an athlete has to continue to build themselves, build your personality, build who you are, your brand, your Instagram, your whatever, because then every time that gets factored into the next contract that you negotiate, but you're going to be negotiating kind of mid contract, I guess. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And exactly. That's what keeps people honest as well. Because let's say I have this good performance. The next one, I take the foot off the gas. I don't train, which I'm not going to do. I would never do that. I take my foot off the gas. I don't train. I don't take it seriously. Then the performances come down. It's like, okay, well, this guy wasn't what we thought he was. Right. Absolutely not. With me, I'm going to keep on going. But it keeps people honest like that. And I feel like that's just good business right there. You just focus on the possibilities that this person can make. If they continue to act that way and be that way and perform in that way, then you can just lock them in again.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, I like that because every time I hear this contract or the money stuff, I'm always in my brain. I'm like, but you have a contract. I don't understand. Like, why is the money an issue for you? Like, you should already know.
It's ludicrous, and maybe I'm just a different guy, but I'm happy with some Pop-Tarts, man. But maybe I'm just a different guy, but I'm grateful, and I understand the business of this as well to the best of my ability.
What flavor Pop-Tart?
Ooh. Now we're
there's only one right answer, but Mansur, before you answer, ringside Rain, what is your favorite Pop-Tart flavor?
A strawberry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not that's not a good one for me either, Mansur. Go ahead.
Brown sugar cinnamon.
What?
Brown sugar cinnamon.
Oh, okay, that one's
good. Okay.
Perfect.
Mine is s'mores. The s'mores.
Okay, that was going to be the second one, and the third one was Oreo.
Oreo? Oh, okay.
There's an Oreo one?
Yeah, like cookies and cream.
Yes.
Oh. Okay, yeah. Okay, nice. Follow-up question. These are very important questions, Mansur. You don't get this at the UFC post-fight conference. You know what I mean? Frozen, toasted, or plain?
Wow, frozen.
Rain?
I have a thing for cold foods and cold drinks. Even if I'm not cutting weight, I'm just that type of guy. I'll put anything in the fridge. It could be Sour Patch Kid in the fridge. It could be peanut butter in the fridge.
Okay. Rain?
Toasted. I never knew that you could freeze a Pop-Tart.
Yeah, that's a
Pop-Tart.
pro gamer move right there.
The answer is frozen, and I'm so glad that Mansur said that. Rain, we're gonna have to leave you. We're gonna have to kick you off the podcast now for saying toasted. That's the wrong answer by far. Frozen is the way to go. What the
100%.
That's so funny. Let's see. Next question. Here's something. You're okay? Keep talking. We're keeping
Absolutely.
a bit long. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
I got more Pop-Tart questions later.
Yeah.
Watching UFC 309 because I want to break it down a little bit. Chandler versus Oliveira.
Mhm.
Crazy fight. Rain,
Crazy.
did you see it? All 5 rounds? Okay.
Mhm.
Crazy fight. Why was it 5 rounds? Mansur.
That's a championship level fight. If I could just describe it in any way, that's a championship level fight. It's 5 rounds. And honestly, I was happy that it was 5 rounds.
Rain? Were you
I was
okay,
actually-
Rain? Were you happy that it's 5 rounds?
Yeah. I thought it was a good fight. There was a lot of well, for me, it was funny though, because early on in the pay-per-view, they explained the rules of the octagon, right? How, for the most part, it's going to be 3 rounds, except when there's a championship bout, which is going to be 5 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when we got to the co-main event, they said it's going to be 5 rounds. And I was like, well, I guess technically it's the co-main. It has the word main event, right? So maybe that makes it 5 rounds. I don't know. But I was happy with it. I didn't mind.
Yeah.
Okay. You are both wrong. I apologize. Here's the thing, Mansur. What I did not like is that that's a lot of brain damage on both those guys for ultimately no need. Like, especially when you saw what happened in the in the 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
Like all the back of the head blows to Oliveira. That was brutal. And then Chandler just took, another beating, right? Like, I think maybe the 5th round with the back of the head stuff? Was it the 5th round?
I'm not sure what it was. I just know it was a lot. Back over and over and over again. I was like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that was the 5th round, if I'm not mistaken. I think the 4th round was still when Oliveira was still in charge and beating him pretty badly. And I'm watching, and I'm like, oh, this is a lot of damage these two guys are taking for absolutely nothing. Oliveira won the first 3 rounds clearly. Like, he's going to win the fight anyways. So then he has to go and beat on Chandler again for another possibly 2 rounds. But then it flips around and he takes a severe beating in the 5th. And I'm like, man, that is all that life that you did not need to deplete. So, I don't know.
Honest, I mean, the mind of a fighter, what can I say? It's like stuff becomes illogical. It's like, okay, 5 rounds. Okay, now it's a test of wills. You don't even think about the possible brain damage, or you think about hurting the other guy. If anything, you think about if you're in the correct state of mind, you think about your possibility of winning, what you're going to do to this guy. You don't really think about the stuff that could be on the other hand of it. Now, when it comes to being an athlete, a professional, someone that's thinking long-term and someone that's thinking of their life after this sport, it could be done a little bit better, but in my mind, that's a championship level fight. It was 5 rounds. If it was me in there, I'd want it to be 5 rounds. Honestly, that's the fighter version of me talking.
Wait, but why? Because you think? I mean, the only reason you'd say you'd want 5 rounds is, in my opinion, 2 things. Either A, you're going to try to negotiate more pay because you're going to say, well, this is a 5-round fight, so I want more pay. Or B, you think that you're going to lose the early rounds, and you feel that you're better in the later rounds, so that gives you an advantage. I mean,
in my mind, I'm thinking of neither of those things. I'm thinking of more time for fighting, even though in my favor, I'm thinking. I swear to God, in my mind, I'm thinking this is more time for fighting. This is more time to have fun and enjoy what I do. Now, someone else, they might think those 2 questions.
Yeah. Okay. As your best friend now, Mansur, I'm going to tell you, I am not allowing you to take a 5 round unless it means big money.
Yeah.
Because Oliveira almost lost that fight in the 5th round.
Yeah, it was heavy.
If that was his mentality, going like, "Oh, I just want more time to fight," well, god dang, dude, you won that fight the first 3 rounds. Those extra 2 rounds is what almost lost you your win bonus, your ranking, your what do you call it? Oh my goodness, your record. You know what I mean? Like,
he came out of there with some lumps and bumps. You see his jaw and everything.
Yeah, and that's all from the 4th and 5th round. First 3 rounds, dude was flawless, had nothing. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. Okay, well, 5 rounds. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, what does it matter? Sign on the dotted line for 5 rounds against Mansur, Rain. You're losing in the first, anyways. It does. I mean,
that's a different discussion. I don't know if I would suggest 5 rounds to me.
yeah. Next question: is Jon Jones a duck?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
no.
It's crazy to me, like the way that, and honestly, maybe it might be recency bias or whatever, but it's just absolutely insane to me to think that. Number one, let's put Jon Jones to the side for a minute. Let's think about a UFC fighter, a man or a woman contracted to compete against another person inside of a cage in front of thousands of people. Being scared doesn't really come into play. Of course, you have your nerves and you have all these things that go through you and on fight night and all this different stuff. But fearful, being afraid, intentionally ducking someone over a period of time, I don't think that that's a real thing. I think it's just something cool that people like to throw around. It's like a fun thing. It garners and gains intrigue amongst like the casual watchers. But if you're someone that really, not even really watches, but if you're someone that's knowledgeable about MMA and about fighting, you understand that no one is really scared. No one is truly, truly fearful. I mean, of course, there are some cases and where people are, but no one's really fearful. Now, bring Jon Jones back into the equation. Absolutely not. I think he's being a good businessman. I think he's doing what's right for him. I think he's in a position to negotiate and really, plainly said, to do what he wants to do. He can fight or not fight. He can go against Tom Aspinall or not go against Tom Aspinall. He can drag this along and continue to build up the intrigue and continue to build up the excitement when people are like, almost, all right, I don't care about this anymore, and then fight him. These are intelligent business moves if you recognize your audience and recognize the people that are tuning in, watching, and paying attention. Bring in the money aspect. It continues to build that up even more. So, no, he's not a duck at all whatsoever, in my opinion. But that would be an amazing fight. I'm interested to see it. I hope it happens. That's going to be something amazing to watch as a fan, as someone that really, really enjoys fighting. That would be something amazing. But absolutely not. I don't think Jon Jones is a duck. I think Tom Aspinall is an absolute animal. I think Jon Jones is an absolute animal. And I think that it's just a seesawing of business right now going on.
Nice. Rain, would you rather see Jon Jones versus Aspinall or Alex Pereira?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Maybe Tom Aspinall.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. Because why? Because that fight intrigues you more, or because it's the right thing to do?
Well, I feel like with Alex Pereira, I think he's a superstar in his own lane, right? Let him stay where he is right now, his division, and have Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall kind of get at each other because they're in the same division.
Yeah. Mansur, which fight do you prefer?
Aspinall, 100%. It's just, it's in my mind, and all the options are exciting. Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall, Alex Pereira, Jon Jones. All of these round robin matchups are very, very, very interesting. But in my mind, the one that gets me is Aspinall and Jones. 110%. You got Aspinall, young up-and-comer, super athletic, amazingly skilled on the mat and on the feet, things that we haven't seen yet from him. We haven't seen a whole bunch of his ground game, a whole bunch of his jiu-jitsu. We know it's there. Yep. There's been previews of his upbringing, what he was involved in before he became an adult. So these things are very, very intriguing, the possibility. And then you got Jon Jones. He's at heavyweight now. He's a little bit older. Oh, my gosh, Jon Jones a little bit older. Can he take on the young up-and-comer, someone that's similarly in the position that he was, who wants to fight, who wants to go against these legends, who wants to go against these greats and test himself? And he knows for a fact in his mind that he's the best in the world. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. But in my mind, I see Aspinall and Jones as the fight to make and the fight that I watch.
Yeah. I think so too. I think that I do think that Jones is using that Alex Pereira teaser as a way to increase his money. Absolutely. Because I think he's saying that, and they're like, "Well, geez, Louise, we can't make that fight. Like that's crazy to us. Okay, we'll pay you whatever the hell you want to fight Tom Aspinall, right? Like It just increases the value. I also think, and Mansur, don't let people clip this video, in a few years when you're looking at that middleweight. Because the problem is, though, you don't want the champion to delay. Like, you don't want the champion to hold up the division.
Yeah.
And so that's why I feel the only answer to that question is it's Tom Aspinall, man, because you got to get this division moving. All the other heavyweights are just sitting there going, like, what's next? Like, like you're going to fight Tom Aspinall for an interim title? That doesn't seem right. And Aspinall shouldn't be defending his interim title. It's got to be the main belt or nothing,
Once again, it's common sense that people don't even have. It's like, okay, this is the next fight to make. Interim versus champion. Unify. Simple as that.
Yeah. Well, as simple as that, if plus $20 million, plus 30, right? It's very simple when the money shows up. Look, we have kept you way too long, my friend. And I appreciate this so much, man. I appreciate your time and for all the insights you've given. Our podcast is now on millions.co. And I'll tell you, they are going to have a heck of it. It's everywhere. It's on YouTube, Spotify, everywhere. But it's on millions.co. And I'll tell you, you have given them the hardest job in the world because they normally clip like, 3 or 4 little segments to highlight. This whole interview has been a highlight. I don't know how they're going to pick which segments, but God bless millions.co for figuring it out. I don't know. Your Instagram is on the bottom. So for people that haven't already followed you, it's at Mansur Abdul-Malik. For those that are on audio only, MansurAbdulMalik. It's going to be in the show notes, of course. So make sure that you follow this guy because this guy's the future of the division, man, and future of the UFC. Rain, I'm going to ask him my last question. But before I do, Mansur, is there anything that you wanted to say to the fans, viewers, listeners of the podcast, or to anything?
I want to say something to you guys. I am so grateful and so happy to be on this podcast. This is, I swear, I'm someone that thrives off of good energy, intellectual conversations. This is beautiful, and it makes me really, really, really happy to do this. I literally have a smile on my face that I can't break, and I'm so grateful to be here. I'm very, very happy that you guys are asking me these questions, and we can have this conversation and this reciprocal back and forth. It's beautiful. You guys ask detailed questions. They're intentful. They're articulate. I'm so happy to be on here, and I just want to thank you guys so much for having me.
Holy moly, right? Dude, it's too nice, man. You're a really good dude, man. I'm really happy for you, man. I'm so glad that we got to meet you. This has been an absolute pleasure, man. My last question is the question that I ask almost everybody that comes on the podcast. I've been asking it for some time now, and it's a question that my mother used to ask me almost every day of my life growing up. So I wanted to ask it to you. Mansur Abdul-Malik, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
11.
Ooh.
Absolutely. 11. And the beautiful thing about that is this is not even the happiest that I can be. I feel like people put a cap on happiness, put a cap on positivity. Okay, I'm happy. This is good. Now I need to revert back to what I was. Absolutely not. Forget reverting back to what you were. There's no ceiling for happiness. There's no ceiling for positivity. There's no ceiling for the blessings and for the good things that can come into your life when you surround yourself with good people, when you surround yourself with good company. And that doesn't have to do with other people. That has to deal with the company in between your own ears. So I just really, really think that there's no ceiling for it. There's no barriers. There's no cap for it if you truly understand and believe what you're capable of. And I'm just in an amazing situation right now. I'm in an amazing position right now. And I get to do what I love, regardless of anything else, anyone else, regardless of if the sun doesn't shine tomorrow or whatever. I just know that today I gave the best efforts that I possibly could. I'm surrounded by good people. I'm having this beautiful conversation with you guys. And I got to train today. That's it.
I mean, there's another clip from millions.co. I don't know what to say.
Another mic drop moment.
Yeah. Mansur, listen, man, honestly, such a pleasure and an honor to meet you, man. I can't wait till people get to know you more and more. Like, I can't wait till your story gets out there more and more. I can't wait till you headline your first event and they do it embedded or whatever to kind of show you a little bit more, because your story is wonderful. You're a good person. And I really appreciate you so much, man. I really do hope to have you back on the podcast one day. Make sure you follow me back on Instagram. Yeah, don't leave me unread. And Ringside Rain too. But, man, absolute honor and a pleasure to meet you, my friend. Good luck to you. Like, your future is bright. Thank you so much for spending the time with us, way longer than I had told you it would be. But thank you, man. thank you so much. We will see you soon. We'll see you back in the cage soon. We'll see you on this podcast hopefully soon.
Yes,
but
yes.
Man, this thing comes out on Thursday. I'll tag you in all the videos for it. And all the best to you, man. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful life, man. Keep kicking ass.
Yes, sir, I will. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye-bye.
That's
all right.
awesome.
Oh my goodness gracious. What a good dude. All right. So I'll cut out a little bit and I'll say, all right, that is our interview with Mansur Abdul-Malik. Rain, what a guy.
I know. He's amazing. Like, very humble.
Oh.
And you can tell he's a really nice person, very genuine. So it was so great to meet him.
Yeah, good guy, man. I hope that life brings him nothing but blessings. This guy, very, very positive. I do want to see him in the TED Talk. I swear I'm going to message him later to remind him about that, because you need good people and you need different people to be doing talks and things like that, and inspiring people, inspiring the youth and things like that. And just with what he is and who he is, I do think that that's something that they should really be doing. He's very, very well spoken. I love it. He reminds me so much of Ricky Tercios when it comes to his mannerisms and his speech. Right?
Okay.
Positive, right? I feel like the two of them should go on a tour together. I know. I don't think they're not same division, so they wouldn't be enemies, but I feel like they'd be very good friends in real life. All right, Rain, that is it for the show. I think this was a perfect episode, in all honesty. I mean, we don't even have to talk about anything else aside from, I will say, go buy our shirt.
Yay! Right there.
Go buy our shirt on millions.co. The shirt I'm wearing today is not the millions.co shirt, and that's why
Which one is it? That's why the logo is small.
It's a crappy one I made myself. Yeah, so this one's terrible. Buy the millions.co shirt, please. Go to millions.co and check it out. Rain, before we go, is there anything that you wanted to say?
Oh, I just want to promote UNF 21 this coming November 30th out here in Los Angeles, California. Tickets are still available, so please go to upnextfighting.com. I'd like to see you there, and when I see you, give me a fist bump.
Fist bumps, free autographs for the first 2 people at this event. Only 2 people get a free autograph from Ringside Rain. After that, it costs you money. But yeah, this is going to be incredible. Rain, are we going to have a UNF fighter on our next week's podcast? Yeah,
we're going to have Tommy Aaron next week.
Boom.
Yeah, can't wait for that.
Very excited. I'm very excited to see this young man. Every UNF fighter we have is so exciting. Right? All the Fight League Atlantic people are incredible. All the UNF people are incredible. It's so cool to highlight these young professionals looking to make their way. That is it for the podcast, I think, Rain. Friends of the podcast update, I do have to say thank you to Rageworks Podcast Network. Check them out at rageworksnetwork.com. You can find other great audio podcasts such as ours, so go check them out. And then to all the fighters that have done well this past week at Showtime Pettis' organization, Roy the Unbroken Echevarria, and I might be saying that last name wrong, he's from the Goat Shed. He won the title. And ooh, I love that dude. He is such a good man. I'm so proud of him and for what he did. He went on the Contender Series. He unfortunately did not win his Contender Series fight. He had to go back into other organizations, and now he is I think it's APFC champion. So proud of him. That guy's a great guy. So congratulations to Roy. Other Fight Insight alumni, they're kicking ass all over the place. It's so many, Rain, and I did not write them all down this time. But to all our former guests that are kicking butt, thank you so much for putting on great shows and putting on great fights. We love you all. Rain, that is it. That's it for the show. I will put some videos or some clips of some videos that you can click on now if you want to watch another great interview.
Am I pointing in the right direction?
No, probably
videos?
not. No. Go freeze your Pop-Tarts, people. Freeze your Pop-Tarts, son of a guns. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.